going on, everybody? This is Sean Scott again with another episode of Kitchen Talk. As you can see, I have some lovely ladies, women here as my guests today. Being that it's May, I decided to do something special and have a Mother's Day edition, mothers and their daughters, pretty much highlighting the relationship between mothers and their daughters. So as you can see, I'm a son, so I won't be here this episode. Alexis will be hosting, so I'll just introduce everybody.
Brenda Jackson Cross,
Monica Galloway,
Monique Galloway,
Antoinette Goodlow,
Ariel Campbell,
and I'm Alexis Cross.
All right, so I'm gonna get out the way, have them do their thing. Y'all ready?
Yep.
All right.
Our first topic is going to be the biggest fear that you have with your mother or daughter. So, for example, my biggest fear is my mom not seeing me make it, or like her not seeing me become the person I want to be. Whether it's her not being here on this earth, or her just being sick or something like that. Mom, what's your biggest fear for me?
my biggest fear for you is, about you, is to not see you make it because of illness, because you can't control whether a person gets ill or not. But that would be my biggest fear, that you wouldn't be able to achieve the goals that you had set for yourself.
and I would say my biggest fear would be that my daughter feels like she has not reached her goals, and maybe she hasn't, but that she does not let that stop her or deter her, or put her in a depression that she isn't where she wants to be, that she has time to be and prepare and choose the life that she wants, the career that she wants, because you may be older, or you may feel that you're too old now, or you should have done it when you were younger, but you always have time to reach that goal that you have set for yourself.
I would say my biggest fear for my mother is that she doesn't get to see me mine's kind of like more simpler. Like, I think of something just as simple as me getting married, like walking down the aisle, and because that's kind of like hasn't been the greatest ordeal in the last few years for me. So I just kind of think about that, like, I would love her to see me like be happy and give her some more grandkids, and I sometimes worry that I can't give her that, and I'm afraid that I'm getting where that's maybe not gonna happen. So I'd say that's probably my biggest fear.
I would say my biggest fear is that my daughter give up on her dreams. I don't want her to ever do that, to ever settle, to feel as though that she has to give that up for anybody or anything, but to live out her dreams and know that her dreams are hers to live.
I would say my biggest fear for my mom is, and it's kind of been the ongoing thing, I think, with the daughters, for anything to happen to her. My thing is and it's kind of a childish thing to say, but like, Mom, you are not going anywhere. You're not gonna die.
Yeah.
Even though knowing that at some point we're all going to, to pass, but I always want her to be close. I always want her to be here. And even though I know if she does pass on, she'll be in my heart, it's just to have her physically here.
Right.
That's my biggest fear, to just have her, to hopefully I'll be ready when that time comes, when she gets ready to go, where I can be okay with that. But right now, I'm not okay.
Right. I get what you're saying. I think that, I feel like me and my mom made a pact that, and Jesus, we just said Jesus is gonna come back and we're gonna hold hands. He's gonna take us all up to heaven. And that's just how it's
That's a good plan. That's a good plan. Yeah.
I
For
think
real.
that's how it should work, because why not?
Well, I've experienced losing my mom,
Right.
and she was 93, but you have to. I felt joy because she lived a good life. Mm-hmm. She lived with all her family was around her, and we took care of her, and that just helped me to cope with her leaving. And I knew that she was in pain, I knew that she was suffering, but I just know that she always had joy. She had her grandkids around, her nieces and nephews. So, and it was just, it was a hurtful time, but it was a joyful time as well, because I knew that while she was here, she was happy and had her family here with her.
I too have experienced that. My mom, she had lupus and she got sick in her 50s. But the thing that I loved about my mother is that she did not let the illness keep her from enjoying life. And she enjoyed life until she was 83. So, yeah, longevity is definitely something that you want to see with your parents.
My experience is a little bit different because my mom is still here, but my mom has dementia, and I've lost a part of her. You know, the mom that took such good care of me and my brothers, and was a good mom, a good wife. And when my dad passed suddenly, it just really did something to her. So yeah, and now, you know, I take care of her. I find joy in that because now I'm able to give back, you know, as far as what she did for me. But that's hard too, because in a way I've experienced a loss, you know, with that.
Right. We're going to go ahead and move along to the second topic. The second topic is going to be the proudest moment that you've had of your mother or daughter. I'm going to go ahead and start with you guys over here.
Well, let's see. There's so many with Ariel. One thing that really makes me proud is to watch her when she's up ministering, when she's singing, and the power that comes behind that, because she watched me do that for so many years, ever since she's been in the world. And when I watch what she does and how she is just so joyful, and that it just makes me really proud, because I'm looking at her going, this is my daughter up here doing this. And it's the most awesome thing. So every time I get the opportunity to see her ministering like that and going forth, it does something to me. I mean, it brings tears to my eyes. She was singing at a wedding, and I was sitting there crying because I'm watching her sing this song, and I'm like, oh my God, this is my daughter up here doing this and doing a wonderful job of it. And I think I think it's awesome. So it's like ongoing times that I just watch her, and one just trumps the next.
I say my proudest moments is just two. I'm gonna keep it very quick. Number one, I'm very proud of my mom because as we, you know, talked about my grandmother, you know, and her situation. She takes care of her, and sometimes nobody else is there to take care of her. But I'm proud of my mom because my granny can be a little testy. It's not easy, but she still goes every morning, you know, every morning. And then what I'm most, you know, proud about is that my mom is not only a mom to me, but we have a choir that we are over, and that it's called the Toledo Youth Choir. And she's not just a mom to me, like sometimes she's a mom to them. She'll go and pick them up and take them out and take them to eat and do this, that, and the other. And it's just like, you know, and they love her, you know, so that's, you know, a couple of things that make me proud.
I would say I'm proud of Elise because, you know, she graduated from high school, she graduated from college, and I'm just proud of her work ethic. And I know she hasn't gotten to where she wants to be, but she still works, and she's a very good worker. She's proud of what she does, and she's very a good person as far as customer relations. She's a good person, and she never judges anyone. She always trying to find that good in everyone. And I'm just proud of her for her work ethic and how she's gonna reach her goals because she works hard, and she will reach the goals that she set for herself.
Proudest moment of my mom would probably be just everything that went on with my dad the past year. She, I'm gonna try not to cry. I'm sorry.
We getting teary-eyed back?
It's okay, girl. It's okay. We got you.
Listen,
It's
so
girl
I'll be
talk.
up here.
just remember when I first was finding out about everything, I got mad and was like, you know, we just lost my Uncle George, and I'm like, why are we going through like something else? And
It's okay. Have a moment.
Mom, she never like had a negative look at it. She just basically told me, you know, everybody goes through something, and this was just, you know, this was our turn to go through it, and we just had to be strong and, you know, just you know, be strong for Dad, be strong for us, and just not look at it like be selfish about it, to say that you're not supposed to go through anything, because I mean, what makes you better than the next person that has to deal with something?
I heard somewhere, not to cut you
No, you're
off,
fine.
but I heard somewhere that people think the problem with problems is that we're the only one that thinks we have problems. And we just internalize our problems, not thinking that everybody else in the world has problems too.
Right.
So it's like we have, it's part of life. We all go through.
And I'm just thankful that, I mean, she stayed strong for, I mean, if it wasn't for her and Dad being strong, I don't know, because I look to them, because they're like, I mean, they really helped with everything with that situation, because I just was, I was at the point where I was mad, because I'm like, why should this be happening? Like, it's not fair. But she just made sure to let me know that you can't think that way, no matter how hard it is. And I'd say that's probably one of my proudest moments.
Well, my proudest moment of Alexis is, of course, graduation from high school, college, and getting to the nursing program at Mercy. But as I think about her as an individual, as a person, I'm really proud that she is the kind of person that makes her own decisions based on who she is, and not based upon what the popular thing is for young people to do. And I'm really proud of that, because one of the things that I tried to instill in them is to be their own person and to accept people for who they are and not who they would want them to be. And I see that in her, and I'm really proud of that. The other thing I'm proud about is that she's in the children's ministry and she loves children. And when she's with those kids, I can see them light up, she lights up, and it truly is her ministry to minister to little kids and teach them about Jesus Christ, because she just really enjoys it. I go in and watch them, and I get really goosey to see her doing that, because I was never the person that liked little kids. So I know she didn't get that from me. I gave that to her.
Oh, wow.
So
Explains a lot from my child. Okay, my proudest moment of my mom would have to be her being a single mom. Not saying she didn't have any help.
Right.
She had help, but it was like her being a single mom, watching her graduate from college and all that she went through to graduate. So it let me know that I could do it. I can do anything that I want to do in this life, because sometimes we had to go to class with her. She was like, we have class at 7, so you need to be at so-and-so on time. I'm like, we have class. I thought I had class I got out of school at 3, but we had class at 7. And I mean, seeing her do that as a single mom, it let me know that anything is possible in life. And she's also a mom to so many other people, like you said about your mom. My mom has taken in cousins and nieces and nephews. It was always somebody that she was like, okay, well, I want the best for everybody's kids. And she wasn't one of those parents that like, I want my kids to be better than everybody else. She was one of those people that reached back and shared the wealth, even though we weren't wealthy by any means. Like, she made sure that everybody had something. She was always thinking about somebody else, and she's truly a compassionate person. I think that's what makes me a compassionate person, and that's what makes me proud of my mom. All right, we're gonna move on to our third topic. Our third topic is for the moms. what is the most biggest sacrifice you had to make as a mother? Any one of you guys
Well,
can pop
you
in
know,
and chime in here.
I was an older mom. I didn't have Elise till I was like 32. So I guess, I had to say, well, what did I really sacrifice? But I think because I wasn't a young mother, so I was able to go to school. I had a job. I had someone to keep her. My sister kept her. So I think being an older mom, I guess you have less sacrifices when you're older, and but I'm just trying to think I can't really think of anything.
I think because of the our generation and the way that we were taught, from our moms, is that you did what you had to do.
Exactly.
And you didn't look at it as some big sacrifice that you're making. It's just all a part of being a mother.
Exactly.
Whatever your child or your children need, you were there to do it, and you didn't have to think twice about it.
Right.
And you didn't look for somebody else to do it for you. So I don't even really think of anything that I had to do, labeling it as a sacrifice. It was something that I wanted to do, that I needed to do, that was required of me to do.
Right.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Motherhood is something that you don't look at it as a sacrifice. It's what you do as a mother. You were taught that by your mother, and you watch your aunts and your grandmother all do the same thing, and it was the era that we came along in. So I agree. I think it's not a sacrifice. It's just what you do. You just go for it and make it happen.
I'm not a mom, but if I could say something,
Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing, like my mom was saying, the most important thing, there's no parent how to be a mom handbook. There's no, thing where if you, say Monique gets sick, Monica can't go to the handbook and go, okay, what do I do for this? Sometimes she has to use her mother's intuition or use what her mom taught her. And so I think, one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for is that being that I had my mom and then I had other mothers around who were my mom's friends, they taught me how to be, when I get ready to be a mom, I'll have some things to equip me to be able to do that. So I know that if my child's running a fever, I know from my mom helping me or from me seeing her friends help their kids, I'll know what to do. And so I think that's most important, that learning things from your parents. Like I would go in and watch my mom cook. I learned how to cook chicken by watching her.
Right.
I learned how to bake by watching her.
Right.
If I need help doing macaroni and cheese, I call her. And it's important to know that. Makeup, lipstick, all of that. Shoes, clothes, I call her.
Undergarments.
Oh, yeah,
Undergarments.
That was the biggest thing, because she'll tell me how to dress. You need to slip under that, or no, you got on the wrong, undergarments. You need to go fix that, so that's important.
Yes. I think a lot of times, like in today's society, a lot of the girls are looking to Madison Avenue for what they need, instead of, and taking life too casually, so, sometimes some girls don't want to hear it, some girls do, but, I think that when we came along, we heard it whether we wanted to or not.
Right.
And that's the difference that happens in these days compared to those days.
Our fourth topic is going to be a piece of advice that you would give to, as a mother, that you would give to somebody that's a young mother, or somebody that's a mother to be, or somebody that will be a mother in the future or wants to be a mom. What is a piece of advice you would give them? Anybody can start.
I think God has instilled in women to be natural nurturers, that we nurture everything. And I believe that you should, I think it's an inward thing, and just always look at your child and then think about how your mother nurtured you. and how your mother raised you. And just remember the points that come to your mind, and that's what you would put forth with your child. And know that it's not going to be easy, that it's a job that you have to work at, being a mother. And it's not an easy job, but the joy that you get when you see your child, go to school, graduate, get a job, have a good life, give you grandkids, to know that was a job that was well done by you, with the help of God, and that just, I think, remember your nurturing spirit. That's what I would say.
Well, I would say there was a piece of advice that was given to me by another mother, and somebody that I really esteemed highly and respected, and still to this day. But anyway, she told me, trust what you put in them. To trust that. Because as you go along life and you have this child or children, and as you're trying to instill in them good values and morals and how to make the right decisions, not be influenced by what other people are doing around you, but if you know what to do is right, then you do that. And putting that in them, that when they are grown and they go off on their own, to trust what you instilled in them. And sometimes it may not look like they're going that direction, but you still have to trust it. You still have to trust what you instilled in them, that something's gonna click in them and they're gonna go, you know what? My mom and my dad, or my mom or my dad taught me better than this. Right. And just to trust that, because there's gonna be some things that our children are gonna do that, it's gonna take you back sometimes and go, where did that come from? Right. But then you still have to always go back to, I gotta trust what I put in them.
Exactly. I agree with that. I also think that when you are raising children, that you have to make sure that you take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And take time for yourself, because you can get so into giving to other people sometimes that you don't stop to think about how you need to refresh yourself.
Right.
And as you said, women are natural nurturers.
Right.
And so we always are nurturing other people and don't take the time to refresh ourselves. So
Right.
if we become empty, we can't give out anything else.
Right.
So we have to remember to do that, and also to be patient with the process that we put in our kids, because sometimes the process is much slower than you want it to be.
Right.
And so you have to be patient through that process. That's what I would tell young women that want to be mothers or who are mothers.
And if you don't have an answer, tell Jesus.
If you don't have the answer, yes, definitely call on the Lord, because He'll have it for you.
Just let them know, hey, I'll get back to you on that one.
Right.
Just give me a second.
All right, this is going to be our last and final topic. It's going to be the funniest story you have of your mom or daughter. I'm going to go ahead with you guys. You guys can start first.
Let's see. Ariel, oh my God. She was always, and still to this day, so beyond her years. And I remember one time we had gone to church, and me and her dad, and we had come back, and she was just cutting up and just doing all kinds of stuff. And she said, I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to go and live with Aunt Deborah and Uncle Derek. Those were her godparents. And I was like, what? It's just like, I just want to go away. I want to go away. Now, she's like 3 years old. And she's telling me she wants to go away. I said, okay. You want to go away? Okay, come here. I said, I want you to take off everything. Take all your clothes off. I said, because you can't take my clothes with you. If you don't leave from here, then you gotta leave with what you came with. You came here with nothing, you're gonna leave with nothing. So I was nice to her. I had her stripped down to like her slip. So I told her, I said, go stand over by the door. And I said, I'll call your godparents and have them come pick you up. And she stood there and she realized, she's really gonna she's really gonna let me go. And she's looking down at herself, and she just kind of looked at me. And then I had to kind of tell her that I was just kidding with her. But I thought that was the funniest. You had to see the look on her face. She's standing at the door with just a slip on because she couldn't leave with what she had on. And I was like, you're not gonna go out of here fully dressed. I bought all that, so you gotta leave it. But that was funny. And then I think another time she was in a back seat in her car seat. She was just cutting up. And her and her dad were together. And she just kept on and kept on. And he looked back. He said, Ariel. And she looked at him. She says, I'm just trying to live my life. Really? At 2 years old, you trying to live your life? What kind of life do you have? So that was two of the funniest stories that you always remember about her.
Well, I just remember in those two stories, she kept saying I was cutting up.
Yeah, you're right.
But one of my stories, my mom wasn't she wasn't really a prankster. And one April Fool's, I was probably like maybe 9 or 10. I was like, I kept like saying stuff, and I go April Fool's, and it's like, oh, there's a spider on your shoulder, April Fool's, and so I kept doing it. And so the time went on. It's like 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and I just come in from my room, and I'm like, Mom, you know, and I asked some kind of question, and she didn't answer me. And I'm looking, I'm like, Mom, and she's just sitting in the couch. She's just sitting there, and her head is back, and her eyes are closed. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, Mom, and I'm calling her, and she wouldn't answer. So then I'm like, oh my God, like she died. I'm like, my mom is dead. Something is wrong, and I'm just like, Mom. So I go and I get on the phone and I start calling my grandparents. My granny picks up the phone, and next thing I know, I hear, and I'm like, I walk into the room. She goes, April Fool's. I'm like,
that was probably terrible, though. That was probably terrible. Now that I look back, but that was kind of terrible.
My granny was, and my granny's on the phone.
I had to teach her a lesson, though.
My grandma's on the phone like, hello? I'm like, Granny, Mom just played a prank on me. But I mean, I never expected it. When she did it, I was just like, oh my gosh. So, scared the daylights out of me, but I can laugh about it.
No more April Fools, right?
I know, right? I never did an April Fool's after that.
What's you guys' funny story?
Well, I remember my husband had to bake a cake for someone. So it was beautiful. It was a chocolate sheet cake. And it was on the counter. And so he had frosted it, and it was just so beautiful on that counter. So then all of a sudden we looked, and there was a big plug out of the corner of this perfect cake that my husband had to give to someone. So I said, what? And lo and behold, in the corner was little 2 or 3-year-old Monique's chocolate all over her face. And she had it in her hand, and she looked at her dad. But all you could do was laugh, you know. And it was just, we just couldn't believe it, you know. She's little Monique's, but this big chunk of chocolate cake, it was just all over her face. And I think that's a story we still laugh about today, about her and that chocolate cake.
Oh my goodness. I can't. Honestly, all I've been sitting here thinking about is something that happened, I think maybe a couple weeks ago. So we were going out to eat for my brother's birthday. And our original plan was to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, but we found out at the last minute that they closed for remodeling. So anyway, so we're like, okay, let's go to Longhorn. And we go into Longhorn. And I go in, and they're like, it's a 30 to 40 minute wait. And I'm like, we're too hungry for that, we're not gonna do that. So we're in the parking lot at Longhorn, and I'm like, okay, what about Outback? So we are planning on driving over to Outback, and Dad's like, just let me out of the car, like I'll go walk over there to go see how long it's taking. And Mom's like, you must not realize how far that is. You're not about to walk over there. And he's like, Monica, like I'm just gonna walk over this, and you wait here. So Mom sits there for like 2 seconds. And is like, he's not gonna tell me what to do. And starts driving over to Outback. But meanwhile, like we are looking at Dad's walking across the grass of the different restaurants. This may be a couple restaurants down, but Mom somehow is looking. She's like, how does he just crossed over a swamp? Like she thinks Dad jumps over some swamp. And me and my brother and my cousin Sean are in the back like dying laughing because Mom is so confused as to how Dad is like getting across the swamp to get to Outback. So we finally pull into the Outback's parking lot, And Dad's like pulling the door open into the restaurant. He still meets us there. But it was just, Mom was like going off like the dad, like she was just, she thought that it was too far of a walk, so she was determined to drive over there and get there. But I don't know, it was just so funny to me because I don't know where she got a swamp from.
I mean, it was like a little screen between
What a swamp.
Like he swam across the
Army treading through the swamp.
And I didn't even
Music playing in the background as he goes
There was
over.
a sidewalk in front of them, but I was
But she gets to the restaurant like, did you have to cross over this way? And Dad's like, he was there, but I didn't go across it. But I don't know, it was just so funny to me. And I've been like I'm sitting here thinking about it the whole time because it was hilarious. But yeah, I can't think of anything else. It's probably a lot of stories. But
No, it's us. The story that I remember, that I think about Alexis, that is kind of funny. When she was about 5 years old, about 5, we were shopping for bathing suits because she was going to go visit her dad in Atlanta. So he had a pool, so I said, well, we're going to get a one-piece bathing suit, Alexis, because I'm old enough to get a two-piece. She said, but Mom, I want the swimsuit with the bra. I said, no, you can't have the swimsuit with the bra because you're only 5. You have to get a one-piece. And so I was picking them out and showing them to her, and so she finally agreed on something just to stop looking for a suit. So as soon as she got to Atlanta and got off the plane, she told her dad, I have to have a swimsuit with the bra. So they went to the store and got the swimsuit, and when she got back home, when she got back to his house, he called me to let me know that they were there. And I said, Alexis, did you enjoy your flight? She said, I got a swimsuit with the bra.
You worked that
You
one.
did.
I knew exactly what I was talking about.
I said, okay, so now I know what I'm dealing with. It was funny. And then the other funny story is when she got this swimsuit with the bra, she took a picture and sent it to me at the pool.
And I was like this.
I said, okay, all right. All right, but that's a funny story. I look back at that and smile every time I see that picture.
Yep. My funny story would be when I was little, I was afraid of everything. And so like, I would be like, my mom would tell us, go to bed guys. And so I always found a reason to come back down the stairs and be like, Mom, well, aren't you gonna do so-and-so? She'd be like, I'll take care of it, Alexis. So she would like just eventually let me fall asleep in her lap, but one night she was not having it. So she goes and stands up and gets in the coat closet. She just goes in the coat closet and closes the door and like starts making all this noise, like boom, 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 banging on the door. And I'm just looking at the closet like, what is going on? And she like swings open the door and like starts walking to me. I am Mommy Monster. I am going to get you. And I am like hollering. Where's my mom? Where is she? I am Mommy Monster. You have to go to bed. And I'm just like, but bring back my mom. She'll come back if you go to bed. And so like she follows me like all the way upstairs and like I'm getting in the bed and I'm like, can I please? And she like I am going to get you. And I'm like, okay, I'll close my eyes. Bring back my mom. She's like, you got them closed? And I'm like, yeah. And she just goes out the door. And I'm like, oh my God, there's really a mommy monster. And like, I can't go back downstairs to see if my mom is there because she'll eat me. It was so funny to me. And then the other story is, I don't know what's going on with my mom, but and she's like in this phase of life where she like knows all the new songs on the radio.
Oh, goodness.
And like knows the words to them, and like every time we're in the car and the song comes on, oh yeah, I like this song, and she'll start rapping the words, and I'm like about to crash the car, looking at her like, why do you know the words to this song? It's just kind of funny to me that she knows, starting from the bottom, now we're here.
So, y'all enjoy yourselves?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
we did.
wonderful, wonderful.
I'm good. Well, first off, thank you. I appreciate it. For those of you who have not already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/reflectionstv. That's youtube.com/reflectionstv. And next month is June and Father's Day, so we'll be having Fathers and Sons edition. So I thank you all again, and we out. Yeah!